Greetings World Walkers, FiOth here, and today I am bringing you my newest build, combining the versatility of the Invoker with the amazing effectiveness of Havoc Form on the Archon. I used to play a very Havoc Form focused build back in the day in the previous iteration of the game, and what it was lacking was the sustain that was needed to tackle the toughest fights. With the double skill cast that Invoker brings to the table now, this is a non-issue, and the added duration makes it a force to be reckoned with. We might have not gotten any new trade points, but what we have here is more than enough to wreck everything in our way. So let's break this down and see what makes it tick. I will start with the guns. That is the simple thing to get out of the way. I'm using Monolith with Spellweaver, using it mostly because its mod will apply exposed on enemies, and targets suffering under this debuff will take 15 additional damage from all sources. It lingers for quite a while, and I combine it with Spellweaver for the added benefits. An extremely potent combination. I am using the Tech 22 as my secondary. Now I am not really adamant about this. You can go with Sawed Off for close encounters because Monolith has good range. You can really go with your preference on this 100%. Flying Bomb Trap is one of the new ones and I really grew to like it. It applies Corroded, deals damage again and again if you place it correctly. Stationary bosses will get prodded by this pretty hard, and it can clear small fries if you're tactical in its uses. I'm using Time Whip within as well. The slow effect that can be applied is good. You could go with something else as well. I'm open to suggestions here, but this is really not the most important thing that we should be using. Mystic Mist is also another very good one to increase our criticals whilst we're casting Havoc Form. It just doesn't apply any direct damage. It's up to you, it's up to availability. I'd say Mystic Mist is great if you're playing mostly with what was available before. Flying Bomb Trap is a really interesting one. Corroded is good after all, so you can try it and let me know what you think. For our melee, I'm using Krell Axe, mostly because of Krell Edge. I can throw this and apply Stormbringer, reducing the enemy's elemental resistances by 10%. Since Havoc Form is 100% elemental damage, this will benefit the cause immensely. The added overload is also good because we're quite high when it comes to elemental damage, so why not make use of it? Our armor is the Leto Mark II. I know, I sound like a broken record. It's not my fault, guys. We need another ultra heavy armor set here. We didn't get any, so I'm still using this looking like a metal dildo. Out of my control, so it is what it is. Let's go into our archetypes. For Invoker being our main, we're using the Way of Keula. You cast this after you apply your mods, and enemies will be hit by lightning every so often for 1759.5 base shock damage split amongst drenched targets. All targets that you manage to wet with your cast will be susceptible to this. Now we will be making the range of this thing humongous, so there will be no issue when it comes to which enemies will be suffering from this effect. Stay with me. Our Archon, we're using Havoc Form. We keep blasting enemies non-stop for 1728 shock damage. The duration on this will be pretty ridiculous, trust me, and combined with the Visionary double cast and skill cooldown, every major encounter you fight, you will be able to support your team with Havoc Form, or just go solo and wreck everything in your path. Our amulet is the Jester's Bell. Casting a mod or skill increases all damage by 15% for 15 seconds, increases cast speed by 35%. I don't know if you're familiar with Havoc Form. The damage you can apply is directly tied to your casting speed. It is the most important attribute when it comes to Havoc Form. So 35% up, I'll take it. Ring number 1 is the Burden of the Destroyer. Decreases range of all firearms by 35%, increases all damage dealt by 15%. We don't care about the range of our firearms because they will be pretty much useless. We want to empower Havoc Form, and this is perfect. Burden of the Gambler disables weak spot, increases critical chance by 10% and critical damage by 15%. We want to be casting critical with our Havoc Form but since there is no way to hit any weak spots, not having weak spots doesn't really affect us. It's all benefit, zero loss. Better the Sciolist reduces armor results by 20%, increases mod and skill damage by 15%. We lose some ammo, we don't really need it. We'll be casting Havoc Form, 15% free damage. Kinetic Cycle Stone increases mod and skill cast speed by 20%. Oh baby, we're really cooking with this. This is a pretty amazing piece of equipment when it comes to Havoc Form. You just get 20% speed free of charge, 100% we are using this. Now my trades you can see on the right, Gifted and Flashcaster we get by default because of our classes. I go 45 Strongback for as much armor as I can wearing Leto Mark II. Max Vigor, nothing on Endurance because we can't teleport with Havoc Form without needing any stamina. Spirit for skills, Expertise for mods, Amplitude for the range of pretty much everything, including 2 of our skills, the main ones that we will be using, and the effective range of all our mods. Siphoner because that's gonna keep us alive, Barkskin for the added defenses, and Footwork because whilst you are casting Havoc Form, the game thinks you are firing a gun and you are aiming, so Footwork will make your movement with Havoc Form much faster and that will keep you safe. Now there is something to be said here about triage. Maybe you can take 5 points out of, let's say, expertise and put them into triage so your Siphoner will be better, but this is up to player choice, I say, because we will already have pretty good regeneration with our heart, to which I'll get to in a bit, so I don't think that is really necessary. Our heart is the Tranquil Heart, and on it we put Mythic Elemental Damage, Mythic Casting Speed, and Mythic Skill Duration. That will give us, of course, more damage because all our damage is elemental. We will have longer duration for our Havoc Form and Way of Keola, and the casting speed, as I was saying, is really important. I love Tranquil Heart. You never have to use this thing. It passively grants you 2 health regeneration, and coupled with siphoning that you will be employing over insane attack speed because our casting speed is through the roof, you'll be healing before you know it. As shown in the beginning clip, the healing we're getting out of this thing is nuts, so you don't need to worry, the build will take care of itself. Just don't get pummeled too hard on Apocalypse because it is Apocalypse and pretty much nothing can save you. When all is said and done, we're looking at a total damage reduction of 61.3, critical damage of plus 65%, skill critical chance of plus 5%, and overall critical chance of plus 10%. Those are all numbers that will be very different upon application of all our debuffs on the enemy, so don't take these flat numbers for granted. This is not what you'll be looking at. You will be looking at very consistent crits and extremely high damage, as I've been showing here in these clips. What's also great about this build is that you can use a lot of different concoctions. They will all help you, and it all boils down to how you want to approach it and what kind of playstyle you have. You could go for extra lifesteal, you could go for more reduction to your skills coming back and becoming available, you could pick more mod generation or even health. If you use a mid shake, you will up your durability by 8%, and that will also help you survive the stronger attacks in the game. On Apocalypse, guys, it's always about the skill of the individual player, unless you're playing something extremely tanky, one of the most ridiculously tanky builds in the game. You can't have all the damage and all the tankiness, so you have to make a choice here. This is all about the damage and quite a bit of tankiness, so I think with good utilization you will be staying alive, no problemo. So, this is it, World Walkers, my awesome Heart of the Tempest build for your enjoyment. I hope you found this vid informative and useful. I am making new builds now that the Forgotten Kingdom is out, and I hope you'll get some usage out of them. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more videos like this, and until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!